Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyways, I was talking about personal development. So this will be part two of the video because I have no idea how to pause and start and re-record because I'm so new at this, but that's okay. That's the joy in learning new things. Um, I don't ever want fear to be the number one reason holding you back from something, whether it's to ask for a raise at your current job, whether it's to go for that promotion that you are thinking, I don't know if I could do it all. I mean, this person did, but now there's this new promotion at work, and I don't know if I believe in myself, blah, blah, blah. That's where personal development comes in, and it's crazy what our minds can do for us and what our minds can hold us back from. It's kind of a constant battle because we're all human. So we all have our own lives going on, and we all have our own personal goals and family goals, and maybe that's just to get through the next 10 minutes of the day. I've been there. It's hard. That's a grueling life, and I don't wish it upon anyone. I want you to look forward to your future. I really do. And just because I want that doesn't mean that that's what you want. So my question is, again, what do you want? Do you want to work the career that you're in? Is it something you are so passionate about that gets you excited in the morning is to be up? Or is that something holding you back? And I also want you to think about, and this is more personal, but um, what are the things in life that you want to do more of? Is it spending time at home with your kids, if you have kids? Is it being a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad? Is it not working really much at all and traveling the world? Is it going and volunteering for a cause that you think is just amazing and you want to help in every way that you can, something that you live and think and breathe about? Like, what makes you you, and what are the things that really inspire you to keep going? Those are going to be really important things for you to look forward to, because it wasn't until I really thought, all of my dreams really are possible and within reach. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get there tomorrow, because I'm not. And I can't tell you that my paychecks are big and fat right now, because they're not. And I can't tell you that I'm out of debt yet, because I'm not. So I will always be honest with you. But um, something too is, right now, what do you love to do that you are missing out on? Is it taking group fitness classes, but you don't have a babysitter, or you don't have the money, to pay for that class? Or is it trips? Or I know last year, one of my best friends, she was getting married, and at the time my husband had been unemployed for months. We were struggling. We were both in a big black dark hole, trying to find our way out. And I didn't have money in savings because I wasn't smart enough with my own business. I have a graphic and freelance web design company, and I wasn't consistent enough the past year. This is last year, and I didn't pay quarterly taxes, which just means, you're guesstimating what you're going to make and you pay it into the IRS so that when taxes come around, you don't get hit big. Well, he was also an independent contractor. So basically, we had to pay out of our butt. And at 30 years old, I had to ask my parents for help, which just sucked. Like, he was unemployed. We had to pay all of these amounts that we really couldn't afford, ask for help. And luckily enough, I had a supportive family and they helped me out, but it was still something we had to pay back. And it wasn't even just that. It was just that one of my best friends was getting married, and I couldn't afford the flight to Illinois. I wanted to be there so bad. Like, that is something I would have killed to do. But I couldn't do what I wanted to do because I wasn't responsible financially in advance. My husband and I, didn't expect him to get laid off, and when he did, it was nobody's fault, but we had to kind of learn from it. And at the time, we weren't learning from it. We were, poor me, poor us, how could this happen? Blah, blah, blah. But, and I was juggling multiple jobs, freaking out. My anxiety was up to here. We weren't sleeping. We were fighting about bills because we had so many bills coming in and little to no money to pay them. So I'm sure you guys have been there before too. And that's an ugly place to be. When your monthly bills keep you up at night, that's a problem. And, coaching is one way to really help that. Whether you can commit to 20 minutes Monday through Friday, or you want to commit 30 minutes, or you want to commit the full hour, the power hour, I'm willing to work with you however long it takes. We get there. Your goals are my goals. My goals aren't your goals. So it's a big team effort, and I can tell you the support that I've received in the coaching opportunity from people that I've never met is remarkable. When I don't think I can do it, or I'm worried about a certain aspect of my business, or I'm overcomplicating things and thinking that this is actually tough, I'm reaching out to them, or on the news feed in the groups, Diamond Council and the Bod Squad, or I'm diving into YouTube videos. If you have a specific question about YouTube, I'm a curious person, so I typically like to look for answers before asking somebody right away. That's just me, but I typically start digging a little bit, and there's almost an answer for everything that you can think of when it comes to coaching, like which coach has been bullied, what Beachbody coach has experienced this, what Beachbody coach has experienced that, how much debt were you in before you finally got ahead, what was your timeline and advancement of rank. And I've been coaching for 9 months, and you'd think maybe I'd be a diamond coach by now. I mean, that sounds pretty cool, right? I mean, that is my goal. But I think the reason that I'm not diamond yet is because I didn't really believe I could get there for a while. I didn't think that my team could really grow into something pretty big, that other like-minded people would also see this as an awesome experience to, max work an hour a day. If you want to work weekends, work weekends. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you want to work 2 hours a day, fine, do it. You'll probably see major success a lot faster than a lot of us others, but that's okay because it's not about comparing. At this point in my life, and when I first started, Kevin was unemployed. That's part of the reason that I got into it. I thought, well, heck, I can get paid to work out and help other people and lead these cool challenge groups on Facebook using technology. I mean, why not? Then I have my freelance graphic and web design business, and that's just a side thing. And I realized after doing that last year that I love it, but it's not something I can do 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and or weekends. And it just isn't. For me personally, I found out that although I'm really creative, I prefer to spend more time on the fine art. That's, painting and drawing, and that's just me personally. So I discovered that last year after going into business for myself, and I can still do that under my business name. But I realized, oh my God, I went to school for this, and then I went back to school for web design, and here I am not wanting to do it full time because I had spent too much creative energy that I just felt drained at the end of the day. I felt like this is just too much. And it was like talking to people, interacting with people, coming home to my husband or my fiance earlier on. Like, I was dead. Everything had been sucked out because I put it all into graphic and web design, which is okay, but I needed that balance back. And also at the time, um, I have always been really inconsistent with everything in my life. Um, Whether it's been school, whether it's been grades, sports, actually executing business plans and ideas and following through. Sometimes I'd do great and then I'd fall down a little bit and then I'd do really good and then I'd fall down a little bit. So I'm Miss Inconsistent. And you may have noticed that, especially in posting in our group or challenge groups, that it was always different times, blah, blah, blah. So besides the point, I'm trying. And that's all I expect anybody else to do. But really, coaching is all about self-discovery through personal development, and it makes me a better person throughout the day. I'm a lot more easygoing. Certain negative things don't really affect me anymore. It kind of turned my life around in that really down state that I was in, and same with my husband when he was unemployed. It really just brought us out of a dark time. So that was another reason I really wanted to get into coaching, was because, I hated to admit it, but both my husband and I got really depressed. We were fighting and arguing all the time. We were stressed about bills. Everything in life just seemed so dang hard, and we played the why me card, why us. And that's not how we had pictured our first year of marriage. We didn't picture a big struggle like that. And, sometimes curveballs come at us. And it's a reminder of how much stronger we are now. It's also a reminder of how much further we can go. Sometimes it's just to make us look back and say, my actions caused this to happen, and now I'm paying the price. But guess what? I'm going to learn from it this time. I'm going to put a little bit more money into our savings account this month because we made a little bit. Or, I am going to do A different from B in order to get a different C result this time. So, those are just some things that I've been thinking about, and I felt like I should share them with you guys before I go on a big rampage. I started this video, part A. Yeah, part A. Originally wanting to know your why or your why not. If you want to make a recording, I would love it, because I feel like when I watch other coaches' videos, I'm more connected to them on a personal level. So that's why I decided to share this, not to share my beautiful face. Yeah. Okay. But that'd be great. Otherwise, if you want to comment below your biggest takeaway, or if you want to ask a question or post your why, or if you need a couple days to think about your why, I'm okay with that. I just want you to think about your why or your why not. If you are coaching or did originally sign up to coach, what was it that you needed to work on or that you wanted to do? And you have to be honest. It could be because you want a mansion. Cool. It could be because you want a new car. Sweet. Or maybe you just wanted to get your hair dyed that month, and that's okay too. It's whatever you want it to be. It just has to be that burning thing in you that keeps you moving, that keeps you saying, you know what? I can add 2 new people on Facebook today. I can reach out and wish Joe Schmo a happy birthday and start up a new conversation. Like, that's great. And that all counts as work. And isn't that crazy to think that that counts as work? Do you think that it's really that hard? Because if I'm doing it, you can do it. It's not hard. You may have hard days. You may have hard situations. You may not be able to help somebody even though you really, really want to, and they told you all their health and fitness goals, and you feel like you have the solution, and you tell them, and then they're like, I don't think so. No. Thanks anyways, though. See ya. It happens. Are you going to take it personal? I hope not. Are you going to think that maybe they are going to come back to you later on? Sure. They might be a maybe. You know, it takes somebody about 7 times of having informed information. Okay, that didn't make any sense. Of having detailed information about whatever it is that you guys are talking about. So let's just say a challenge pack or a challenge group. You're just talking to them about it. It takes them about 7 times of being exposed to that before the typical person says, you know what? I want to try that. I want to try Body Beast. Or I want a nutrition plan. I think I need that. When's your next challenge group? And that took me a while to really comprehend, because I thought, weird. I approached my coach just because a friend of mine had done it, and I knew I needed something, and I was asking more questions, and then I'm like, I was hesitant for a minute, and then I was like, never mind, I need this. But not everybody is like that, and that's okay. It's all okay, because it's just part of it. But that's really it. You're spending 10 minutes a day in personal development, whatever you want. Maybe it's about organizing your life or something. I mean, we could all use that. Sure, that counts. Messaging a few people, saying hi, and sharing your life, your personality. Maybe some videos if you feel up to it on Facebook. It's not a sales position, because I would have been fired a long time ago because I'm not salesy, and I don't like salesy. And I say that, but it's true. So the challenge pack does cost money. And technically you could think, well, we are trying to sell that to people. But if you're thinking about it that way, then you're probably not going to see too much success. And I'm just saying that because it's not about sales. We do make money on commission, and then as you get a couple more coaches, you do get to help more people because you get some free people through Beachbody. You have your team, and then if they're growing their business too, you know, it all just multiplies, and that's great. And it's awesome to see income from something I like doing, from something that doesn't make me have a headache or feel exhausted at the end of the day. So I just wanted to share that with you a little bit, my perspective. Being a coach is just really finding out how to help people. And when you're messaging them, it's kind of about like, okay, when you're forming them, you're finding out a little bit about their family or their occupation or whatever. And that's awesome. You know, it's cool to get to know people and what drives them. And if they have an issue, maybe it has nothing to do with health and fitness, but maybe you would just be that little light that day that can say something positive and say, you know, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through such a tough time, or that this family member passed away so suddenly. What can I do to help? And like maybe a day later, wishing them a happy day, even though you feel for them and whatever they're going through. It doesn't matter if they bought anything from you, or maybe you didn't even get to how you like coaching or running challenge groups. That's okay. You made a difference. And you are going to get paid for making that difference. All of that creates momentum, and that momentum is what actually builds your business. So before I go on a big long tangent, which I already did, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to leave you guys with the why. My why originally was because, you know, Kevin and I were in a dark place. He was unemployed. I had been really inconsistent with my eating and my working out behaviors, and I wanted to change that and feel good about myself. For me, it wasn't as much physical as it was mental. but it gave me that positive reinforcement I needed. It helped me build my self-esteem. When you think positive things, as hard as that is to train yourself, the world comes at you, giving you more positive um, opportunities. It's crazy. I used to think that was weird, but I don't. I call me crazy. That's fine. But if you honestly start to train yourself to think more positively, more positive things will come your way. You will slowly get out of debt. You will get that job offer. You will have a new job offer. You will suddenly win a vacation. Who knows? I mean, it's the power of your mindset. Um, so if you have questions and you want to know some personal development books, feel free. Always ask me. I'm always asking other coaches too. It's just a whole big learning curve. And you do it at your own pace, on your own time, which is even better. No one pushes you to make sales or to grow your team. If you need to take a break from coaching, like one of my coaches, she recently, had a few situations that happened in her life. She needed to take a break, a step back. Although she had just gotten into the business, she had to take a step back for her and her family to be at a job with consistent pay. Maybe it's not something she'll do forever, maybe it is. But she has to prioritize her and her family's needs over anything. So for her, it made sense to put it on hold for a minute until she can sort out the rest of the chaos in her life. I'm fine with that. I just love the fact that she trusted in me and was able to tell me that. And that's what matters most, is what you need is what you should be getting, whether that's from me or somebody else. If you need tough love, let me know and I can do that. If you need someone to stay on top of you, I can't just give up my life to spend every day calling and texting you every 5 minutes, because that would just be a lot of time to make sure you're staying on track with whatever your goals were for that day. But I will meet you halfway. Think about the type of person you want as a mentor and the type of person you need, and I'll do my very best. I can't make promises yet because I'm still learning how to be the best coach for myself. I recently discovered a few things. I went back and I looked at all my power hours. So if you need me to repost that in the group, just let me know. But the power hour, I am a very visual person, so what works best for me is taking a sheet of loose leaf paper and putting it on a clipboard and writing out the power hour, the to-dos. And then I make check marks when I'm done. I also write the amount of time that it took me, whether it was 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or whatever, to add 5 new people on Facebook. I write that down, and then I have my total minutes spent. So most coaches, and I do too, recommend an hour or less a day. Typically, you want to schedule out 1 hour and do it all together. But I know that that's not always possible. And there's days where I didn't make time for an hour in between all 3 jobs. So I ended up, through trial and error, doing 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and that day maybe I only had, 30 minutes done. But guess what? 30 minutes is better than nothing. It's just like any workout. 5 minutes is better than 0. 10 minutes is better than 0. I don't want anybody getting burnout ever. So yeah, just as long as you want to work a little bit, or if you want to try and work a little bit and see if it's the right fit for you, if you gave it 2 weeks and did, maybe 45 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, or maybe you just want to do it on the weekends, just let me know your plan and we'll just keep reassessing. Think about your why. Maybe you did just want the discount. Cool. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't want the discount, but maybe you're starting to reconsider, your options. This is something you can do on top of 2 or 3 other jobs. But the beauty is that you do it when you want, where you want, how you want. There's guidelines from successful coaches. So that's what I try and follow. That's what I learned. And even when I follow it just to the minimum, then the following week I get a bigger paycheck. So I'm learning how to be more consistent. That is something that I'm going to be practicing. And what it comes down to, the beginning is a little bit slow, to tell you the truth. You're trying these new things and you're kind of making these new posts, and maybe you decide you want to host a challenge group. And if you want me in it, great. If you don't, you don't. I typically join the first challenge group that any coach is hosting, even if I'm not posting much in it, just to be there in case they need me. Chances are they don't, because they're already rock stars, and they already know what they're doing because they did the new coaches checklist, and they've also saved all of their posts. So I don't know, it's pretty incredible. But the thing that I want you to think about is like, hey, where am I at in my life? Where do I want to go? Can I pay my mortgage? Do I even have a mortgage? Maybe it's rent. Maybe I'm overpaying in rent because my credit's so bad I can't get a house yet. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Guess what? We're in a condo, and it is not owned by Kevin and I. It is half owned by Kevin and I. It is half owned still by my parents at 31. When I first moved to Denver, I was single. I wasn't dating, and I'd gotten out of a really bad relationship, and I had spent the past decade of my life paying so much money in rent, they decided, you know what? You're never going to survive anymore. If you're moving to Denver, because I also had some other family here, my family felt like it was best if they actually bought a small condo because they wanted to come and visit more often since more family would be here. Me. And then I could slowly but surely start paying them back so that I could half own it too. And then eventually, I had a boyfriend, and then I had a fiance, and then now I have a husband. So it's really interesting when my parents are here and traveling. It's just a whole lot of us in a very small place. But I am so grateful because the amount of money that we've been able to save instead of spending more monthly on rent. Yes, there's HOAs. And then as far as the mortgage goes broken down, it is a lot cheaper. And to tell you the truth, with my credit, which my parents knew, I have to rebuild my credit because I was young, dumb, and stupid. And when I was 18, I got a Maurice's credit card, and then I got an Express credit card, and I just love clothes. So that went on and on. Eventually got other credit cards, racked them up, could barely pay the minimum because I was in college a couple of years later. And guess what? When you have interest rates at like 15%, you better believe that it's going to be a struggle to pay just your minimum plus the interest, because you're always going to be paying but not seeing any drop in that bill, and it's going to keep growing and growing, and guess what? You're screwed. So my mom made me cut all those up years ago, and most are taken care of. Luckily, that now Beachbody's given me the opportunity to have this additional income, get paid on Thursdays, whether it be $40 or $350 one week. It all depends on kind of what happened the 2 months prior. And I say 2 months because that's where the momentum is created most of the time. 1 to 2 months of really hard work will show up. Yes, you'll get paid the next week, but that will build and build and build, and then pretty soon you'll see this bigger number, and you're like, how did that even happen? I mean, I didn't do that much work last week. But then you go and look back at the numbers, and you break them down with all the fancy descriptions, and you're like, oh, I get it. That's when I decided to put in my full power hour and do the step-by-step process each day of the week. Ding, ding, ding. So in order for me to kind of get past my plateau, I'm putting myself out there in the raw, just to share with you that I'm going to be working on being more consistent, a better coach for you, and